As you know, if you're from Maryland, we have the pleasure of all four seasons. So in summer, we get 80, 90 degree weather, and then in the winter, we get blizzards and several feet of snow sometimes. So right now, we're entering fall, and I want to talk to you about the things you can do to your house really as it starts to get cold, and make sure that you're taking care of your investment. So first thing I want to start to talk about is your furnace, your heating system. You've been running your air conditioning all summer. Most of you have probably turned your heat on by now. Hopefully you've gotten it checked out. You want to do an inspection on that. Call up your local HVAC person and have them come out and do a checkup on your system. If you're like me and you have an oil system, and I'll show you. So I'm actually at my house here, but this line, this goes down to my oil tank. So I'll call up my oil company and say, hey, I need to fill up my oil tank. Well, oil's kind of dirty, right? You get sediment in it, you get water in it. You want to make sure that's clean, and you want to make sure your system, it's been sitting, it pulls up more sediment and stuff. So you'll get the HVAC company will come out, they'll vacuum it out, they'll clean it, they'll change your oil filters to make sure that everything is up and running, because last thing you want is some sort of a backfire or putting smoke in your house, or it could be bad. Or even worse, it's cold out, you turn it on and the heat just doesn't work, so now you and your family are freezing. So make sure you get a home checkup on your furnace or your heat system. Second thing I want to talk about is sealing the gaps, and by that I mean your windows and doors. So you'll want to go around and kind of inspect the outside, look at your windows, your doors. You can go to Home Depot and you can get some clear silicone and just kind of fill in any gaps or cracks around. You don't want the cold air coming in, and you want the heat to stay in the house. So go around, weather strip your windows and doors. The other thing you can do is do insulation. So I recently put insulation in my attic, which the idea is it's going to make my house more efficient, so the heat will stay in. It's not going to dissipate up through the attic and out the roof. It'll keep that heat trapped in. As you know, heat rises. You can also do your walls, depending on how your home is set up. The different expenses. Typically with the attic, you're going to be around $2,000 to $5,000 to put in new insulation. So that'll keep the cold air from coming in and keep the heat that you're paying for this to keep your house warm, keep that inside. So next, let's talk about frozen pipes. So I'm going to show you, I've got a valve right here. So you want to make sure that you turn your water lines off, because as the temperatures drop down below freezing, the water in those pipes are going to freeze. So the trick is here, okay, so there's a water shutoff valve inside your home. If you don't know where it is, call a plumber. Maybe when you got a home inspection, they should have showed you where that water shutoff valve is. But you want to turn that off inside the house. That'll keep water from going to the outside hose bibs. And then once you do that outside valve, you want to actually open that up and let any of the water out. Otherwise that water is going to stay in there and it could still freeze and damage the pipes. So make sure that you turn it off inside and then open it up outside. That'll keep your pipes from freezing. If you're in any extreme areas, you got pipes outside, you might want to wrap those, insulate those, or even in cases, you might want to put some antifreeze down into those pipes to keep them from freezing. We don't see too many really extreme winters out here in Maryland where you're going to have to deal with that, but just something to know. Also, run water through the pipes if you were to get any really cold, or you have some pipes that are more exposed. It'll keep the water circulating every once in a while just to make sure that it doesn't freeze. So next thing, gutters. Obviously you can look around me, the leaves are falling. You want to make sure your gutters are clean. I actually have on mine, you can't really see it, but I do have gutter guards on mine. But even still, with the gutter guards, they find a way to get in there, and they will block up your gutters and keep water from draining out. And what happens is the water will freeze within those gutters, and two things can happen. You have something called ice damming, where it creates an ice dam, and the water will actually start to shoot back up underneath your shingles, and it can damage the roof and it can cause leaks. And that's something you don't want to deal with, is a roofie leak in the middle of a winter if you got snow melting on the house. The other thing is just the weight. The weight of it not draining, that heavy ice, could cause it to bend, to break, to snap off the house. And then again, you have another issue to deal with. So make sure you keep your gutters clean. And on the same lines, let's talk about landscaping. So leaves, obviously they're falling. It's not the most fun thing to deal with. You can go out there and you can rake your leaves. The other thing you can do, I did this yesterday, is you just kind of, and they're already coming back, but you can run them over with a lawnmower, a mulching mower, and basically it takes the leaves, it turns them up, turns them into mulch, right? And that's good because it'll help insulate and give the grass some nutrients come time where it's spring and it gets warmer out. So you can do that a couple times. You might have to run it over 2 or 3 times depending on how much pilage has up with the leaves. Or like I said, you can rake them. Check with your county as far as being able to burn leaves. New rules, I think last year, you have to use paper bags now. So if you go to Home Depot or someplace like that, you can pick up some paper bags, break up your leaves, put them in the paper bags and stick them on the curb. They'll come and take those for you to dispose of them. The last thing I want to talk about is your driveway, and I'll show you a good example here of what not to do. So I bought this house a year ago and I haven't really done anything with the driveway, but there are cracks in the driveway. And what happens is, you can see water will get into these cracks. And what happens to water, when it freezes, it expands. So it's gonna get in the cracks and expand, make the cracks bigger, start to break down the driveway. That's something you don't want to deal with. You don't want to have to replace a driveway if you don't have to. So get some sealant, put it in those cracks. Right now it's kind of cold to put a coat over the top, but they do have driveway sealant. At least fill in those gaps for now, and that'll help maintain the life of your driveway. So those are my tips for you as far as fall maintenance. If you are a new homeowner, you want to make sure you do these things to protect your investment. You can check out my website. I did write a blog post about this, creative-agent.com, and leave me some feedback. Let me know if you like the video, you have any of your own tips you'd like to leave, and happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you soon.